Apologise, members. Question number 7, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Commerce, did any members of the Securities Commission declare potential conflicts of interest in respect of the recommendation to place Allan and Jean Hubbard into statutory management? And if so, on what date and in relation to what potential conflicts of interest?
The Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Commerce, no. One Commission member raised a potential conflict of interest in relation to South Canterbury Finance. The Commission considered that the circumstances did not disclose any conflict of interest. Legal advice sought by the Commission confirmed that view. As the member will know, South Canterbury Finance is not and never has been in statutory management.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable David
Mr
Cunliffe.
Speaker, the Minister has misquoted the question in two respects. Firstly, it asks, did any members of the Securities Commission declare potential conflicts? He answered no to that question and then described one. And secondly, he talked about South Canterbury Finance going into statutory management, whereas the question asked, to place Allan and Jean Hubbard into statutory management. And, sir, I would ask that you ask the Minister to answer the question that was asked.
This was a primary question. I would ask the Honourable...
Yes, it is, and the answer is quite correct on behalf of the Minister, sir. The question asks, did anyone declare a conflict of interest? That would assume that they were sitting at a proper meeting of the Security Commission and made that declaration there. Mr Speaker, at no formal meeting was there such a declaration. I went on to explain, sir, that one Commission member raised a potential conflict of interest in relation to South Canterbury Finance, such that the Commission itself sought legal advice to confirm ultimately that there was no conflict. I'm not trying to be clever. It is a matter of form. Was there a formal meeting at which a conflict was declared? The answer is no, but clearly, sir, from the answer, the issue was raised.
Speaking to the point of order, Mr Speaker.
OK, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, I don't wish to detain the House, and it may be a semantic point, but the question was around a potential conflict. The Minister cannot answer no to that question and then say there was a potential conflict.
No, order. The Minister explained his answer, and I'm very grateful to him for that. He gave no in relation to the specific question asked, and then add a little further information about another potential conflict of interest relating to another interest. And
speaking to the point of order, Mr Speaker.
Well, it seems that the matter does need order. The Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, there's no intention here to create any murk or otherwise. The question asks, did any members of the Securities Commission declare potential conflicts of interest, etc.? Mr Speaker, I assumed, and I think I'm speaking on behalf of the Minister, that meant, did anyone at a formal meeting of the Securities Commission, declare a potential conflict of interest? The answer is no, but clearly the issue was raised at a subsequent point by a member. It was checked out to see if there was a conflict, and the legal advice was that there was no conflict. Mr Speaker, it's somewhat pedantic. If you would prefer me to say, on behalf of the Minister answering, did someone declare a potential conflict of interest, I'm at a difficulty because the member, I understand, questioned whether there was rather than declared there was. And I think that's a fine and important point.
Normally I wouldn't be spending any time at all, but this is a primary question that the Minister has had some time to prepare the answer for, and the answer is, the question is fairly clear. It talks about declare a potential conflict of interest in respect of the recommendation to place Allan and Jean Hubbard into statutory management. It specifically mentions those two people and on what date and in relation to what potential conflicts of interest. Now that question is clearly answerable.
Sir? On behalf of the Minister, I'm advised no. There was no formal declaration of a potential for conflict, but there was clearly, and I'm not familiar with the circumstances, a discussion. Everyone knows that. I think most salient point is that there was legal advice sought by the Commission which confirmed there was no conflict of interest. So was there a declaration? No, there was not a declaration. There was a question asked, do I have a conflict?
I think the Minister has explained insofar as it's possible. The Honourable David Cunliffe, does he have a supplementary question?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, can the Minister confirm that the question or declaration in relation to Mr Botherway's brother's business being put into receivership by Allan Hubbard and South Canterbury Finance only occurred after written parliamentary questions regarding the potential conflict of interest were raised by my colleague, the Honourable Ruth Dyson, and that the Chief Ombudsman is now investigating the adequacy of that conflict management.
The Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I can confirm that the Securities Commission member concerned raised the potential conflict of interest in respect of South Canterbury Finance on the 24th of June 2010. I can further confirm that legal advice has made it very clear that the member did not have a conflict. And yes, Mr Speaker, I can confirm that the Ombudsman is looking into this matter, although I have no responsibility as a Minister for him.
Yep. Point of order, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table a letter from Beverly Wakeham, the Chief Ombudsman, dated 1 September 2010, confirming that that matter is under investigation.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The Honourable David Cunliffe, supplementary.
Mr Speaker, has Mr Botherway declared any potential or perceived conflict of interest in relation to his former business relationships with Mr George Kerr, for example, at Spices, Brook Asset Management, Sterling Grace Management Group or Tempest Capital, given that Mr Kerr is a director of the Torchlight Fund, the largest single beneficiary of the bailout of South Canterbury Finance, which was repaid in full, plus interest, plus fees described by the New Zealand Herald as usurious.
The Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I'm unable to confirm that on behalf of the Minister. What I can say, though, is that clearly the incident that was part of the primary question has caused the Commission to be mindful of these things, has caused the Commission to seek legal advice on this particular matter. And, Mr Speaker, I am also certain that in light of the Ombudsman's investigation into this matter, that parties concerned will be acting with all caution and prudence.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, has Mr Botherway declared any potential or perceived conflicts of interest in relation to his former professional and business relationship with Mr John Key, for whom he was reportedly recruited as his deputy at Bankers Trust? And if not, does the Minister think it would have been prudent for the country's most senior regulator to have made such relationships fully transparent?
The Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister for Commerce, I'm unable to confirm that. But what I can tell the member is that one of my best friends was the first person ever to employ Mr Key after leaving university. If that's a disclosure that's helpful, I'm pleased to have made it.
Question number 8, Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister